Hey, what is up YouTube? In this video, I'm going to be doing a long-term review of the Endgame gear XM1R. I'm basically going to be shilling for it, and I'm going to be showing off this sexy Divina blue colorway that I had commissioned by CRYOMODS. They did an absolutely wonderful job, and I got this mouse CERAKOTED. So I'm going to talk about that later in the video, but first of all, I'm going to talk about the XM1R. I mean, I've been using this mouse for well over a year, on and off. And my first video, I was talking about the shape, how I didn't really prefer it to the Viper Mini and the M42. At that time, I had been using it for like 3 months, and that video was like nine months ago, something like that. So I've been using this mouse for about a year. And as a complete package, I think this is the best gaming mouse you can buy, period. And so, number one, the price. I mean, this mouse is $70. And just keep that in mind as I talk about the features. Because I think the mice that I think are even remotely comparable, like the Viper Ultimate and the Superlight, those mice are way more expensive. The Superlight in particular, that mouse is actually highway robbery. But feature-wise, you get perfect buttons, you get a perfect sensor, you get perfect click latency, perfect cable. Okay, not a perfect cable, but it is very good. These skates are also very good. They are not perfect, but they are very good. And you get an extra set of them, which is not that common. The shape is great, and the coating is something just out of this world. I mean, it is sprinkled with magic pixie dust, right? I've had this white shell for over 6 months, and I've played with it for that long, and there is a little bit of discoloration in the bottom left, but it has held up. It is super grippy, absolutely fantastic. It is an absolutely fantastic coating. And the weight distribution, it is perfect. I mean, I'm holding it like I would claw grip it, and it is just perfect. I mean, it hardly even tilts forward when you hold it up and further up the mouse and lower on the mouse. And actually, I want to talk about that because the Fanatic Bolt is 69 grams. This mouse is like 72, 71. I don't know exactly, but the Fanatic Bolt, I shit you not, this mouse feels heavier because it is denser and it is not as well balanced or as distributed. And I mean, the XM1R, I just feel is perfect. So, anyway, what don't I like about this mouse? Honestly, nothing. I wish it was wireless. That's the only thing. And there is an XM2 wireless coming out. So that mouse will be the mouse to end all mouse. Sorry, God, I can't English. That mouse will be the mouse to end all mice. Just buy it. There's nothing that will come close to it in the next 5 years. Just kidding. I mean, it will be the best mouse on the market, hands down. I mean, you have the Superlight, for example, right? That mouse is $130. I had 2 Superlights that had base wobble, so it is a coin flip as to whether you will get QC issues. The clicks are Omrons, they are not as good. The coating is not nearly as good. It is actually dog shit by comparison. But at least it is a coating. I mean, compared to the Bolt, the Fanatic Bolt is just straight up uncoated, so it is actually useless unless you put on grip tape. So, yeah, I mean, this mouse, hands down, the best package. And as somebody who's been using it for a year or so, I have no complaints with it. I have 0 complaints with this mouse. And that is not something I can say about any other mouse that I've used. I am so sorry. Anyway, with that out of the way, I want to talk about the coating that I got, the CERAKOTED. And I commissioned this, the Divina. I was going for a Divina blue look, obviously. And I sent the mouse off to CRYOMODS. Took 2 days to get there. He took 4 days to CERAKOTE it, and then shipped it right back. And I got it 2 days later. So I mean, it took a week, roughly a week, to get my mouse CERAKOTED. And the coating itself is super grippy. It's very, very similar to the XM1 stock coating, actually, in terms of grippiness. But the surface is very similar to it. I've never touched an alligator or alligator skin, but when I touch it, my mind evokes that feeling oh, this is touching an alligator. It's rough, but also not, but also sandpaper, very, very fine sandpaper. So I mean, this CERAKOTE job, absolutely gorgeous. It is so sexy, and I can't shout out that CRYOMODS enough. I mean, The pricing was extremely reasonable. Was extremely reasonable. It was like $95 for the whole Cerakote, and well, dual tone Cerakote rather. It's like $65 if you get one tone. It is like 85 or like $80 or something like that if you get two tones. I had him throw in some skates, and the shipping was like $5. So super reasonable price. Go get your mouse Cerakoted by CRYOMODS. And he also does a whole bunch of other stuff like G305 mods and wireless mods for various shells and whatnot. So yeah, if that's the end of my video, I'm going to be reviewing the Esports Tiger Neon. Uh, Probably next week. I want to put some more mileage into it before I can talk about it. And spoiler, I think it's a really great pad, but I want to see how the durability, how it holds up. So I'll review this pad. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, leave a comment. Please leave a like, subscribe, and appreciate that a lot.